I'm Jackie Chico, and I grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia, at first with a single mom, and then I ended up having two different stepdads. I knew my dad, but he didn't spend time with us much. Since then, he's become a wonderful Christian man. But I made a lot of not good decisions, especially as a teenager, probably acting out, not realizing what was happening, and got married at a very young age because I was pregnant in high school, and ended up married with two kids for 4 years, but a very abusive, drug-addicted relationship. And had been on welfare for a while, independent, getting college education by myself and getting a job. And not too long after that, ran into my husband, Eric, who we did get married about almost 3 years after all of that. And it took me about 2.5 years to talk him into marrying me, because, you know, two kids, that's kind of tough. But during that time, he took me to a service at a church where I heard an Easter service, and that really just hit me for the first time. I think I actually realized what Christ did for me and what he sacrificed for me, and it would be only for me if I were the only one. Before Christ, it was really all about me, but I didn't know anything different. It was very confusing because I got all my morals and information about relationships and love from TV. No serious conversations with my mom. I think she just thought everything would just be fine. So before Christ, it was very selfish. I just didn't realize it. I felt like I was this innocent little girl and everybody else was just doing things to me that were wrong. After I met Christ, then I would say I understood his compassion and sacrifice for me, but oftentimes I found myself, and still struggle, being a Pharisee. And I could say, well, you know, I'm getting this right in the Bible. You should get that right too. So it's probably something that's more of an ongoing struggle that might be a struggle for me until I'm 80 or 100 and until I meet Jesus. The biggest, I think, aspects of how Christ has brought light into my life originally was just that I was sinning. And then, so it was, I guess I'm one of those cross the T's, dot the I's kind of little girl, and I like to follow the rules. So stopping the sin that I saw in my life seemed easy. And so I just assumed it would be easy for everyone else. So right now, I think over the last 10 years or more, maybe since I've had Eric and Jack and parenting all over again, maybe it's because I have boys. I'm not sure what all these things are that God's put in my life, but I've realized probably one of the brightest things in these last 10 or 15 years is realizing how much of a control freak I've been and how much God wants us to love, truly love, which we'll never completely understand, but how to love somebody and not be trying to force people to change. And even that delicate balance between when you're trying to encourage a child to improve without forcing change on them, or forcing them to be the child you think they should be, or always make the decisions that you would make. Most often, I even noticed this weekend, a big revelation for me, I could see in other people how mad they get when they have unmet expectations, or when things don't make sense. It can make you really, really mad, even in traffic. Just thinking, well, why would that idiot do that? I thought it was so crazy. But to walk in other people's shoes, and also I think that when we learn that patience with other people, we're understanding God too, because there are so many things he's not going to tell us. And we get so frustrated with him, not knowing why he's letting these bad things happen to us or to our children. And our instant response is rage. Just learning that in the last, I'd say, 24 hours, I had another lesson again. But it's huge in how we love. I heard a great definition of love recently, and it is that you could love somebody enough that you always do what's right for them, even if you suffer. So I have an adult child that might say that he hates me when I make the decisions that I make, but I'm willing for him to feel that way about me now because I know that the decisions that I make are good for him. And so sometimes it's hard to do that, especially with people close to you, your kids and your spouse. And that's probably the biggest bright light in my life right now, is understanding relationships better.